Hi. It's hot, very hot. So I don't know why I'm wearing so much hair and a hat, because I think it's cute. And when I feel cute, I feel better. Hey, have you seen my terrarium? I seem to have misplaced it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I showed some pictures of my terrarium. I know exactly which chapter we're on. We're on chapter 11, the Tower Signaler. But I'm going to wait till more people come. Hello, one person. Hi. Hello, one person. Hello, Simply Sapphire. I'm just going to sit here for a while and wait. Why am I wearing a hot hat? It's made of wool. That's smart. And sleeves? Why am I wearing sleeves? Because it's cute stuff, but it's hot. Have you heard of Judy Blume? Judy Blume. Oh, yes, Blume. Judy Blume. Didn't she write the Ramona books? I read Ramona Forever. That's Judy Blume, right? Yeah. I know the Ramona books, although I think I only read one of them. Want to see a bird? I'm going to give him some more feathers up here. And something around his neck. Like a book. Oh, Judy Bolton. Yeah. I know of them, but I've never read any. I have a Pinterest board with books like that, or I love the covers of them and the titles of them. So this guy or girl needs some kind of clothes, some more feathers up here, something on the head. What is it missing? I don't know. Yeah, Judy Bolton. Who's the other one? I don't even have room for books anymore. I have no room for books. I get overwhelmed by books and books I want to read. Yeah, I have a few Hardy Boys books. I haven't read any of them yet. I'm more interested in Nancy Drew. All right. Should we start reading? I'm going to turn the light on just so I can see better. Because I don't feel like wearing my glasses. I need bifocals. I'm like 100 years old or something. Because for reading, I like to have the glasses. Then when I look up over here, I don't know what's going on. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep them on for now. So let's do a recap of the... Ah! Oh, no. Sorry. My apologies. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'm turning the chat off so that I can pay attention to my reading, because I can't do two things at once, okay? But I'll get back to you later. Sorry about that loud bang and things falling over. Am I charging? Yes. Okay. So at the end of chapter 10, it's been a while. What happened at the end of chapter 10? Oh, right. They went to go see Peter Judd, the sailor guy, right? Who Mr. Wheeler was taking them in the boat to see when they crashed. And then Mr. Wheeler went to the hospital, and then he got kidnapped from the hospital. They located Peter Judd's dock and moored alongside it. Mr. Judd was cordial. How did you happen to know about me? He asked. At once, Nancy told him about Mr. Wheeler, the accident, and the kidnapping. What a low-down trick, Mr. Judd cried, incensed. What do you think is the reason? We can only guess, said Nancy. Possibly you can help solve the riddle. Do you know why Mr. Wheeler was bringing my friend George and me here? He hinted that it had something to do with the settlement of Mrs. Horton's estate many years ago. Peter Judd was thoughtful for several seconds, as if trying to decide whether or not to tell these strange girls something he knew. Finally, he said, I believe I do. After that young lady, Joan Horton, got all her grandmother's money, she went away. Nobody knew where. Suddenly, I remembered something that had happened on my train a little over 6 months before old Mrs. Horton died. I went to Mr. Wheeler and told him about it, but he just laughed at me. But now I think maybe he has decided there was something to it. Eagerly, Nancy asked, What is the story? So that's where we left off last time. My mouth, I started taking a new medication. Well, I'm not, and one of the side effects is gives you like a dry mouth, but I always have a dry mouth. So I have to drink a lot. Inside my mouth is like a desert. That chicken is staring at me. Stop staring at me, chicken. Stop looking at me, swan. Okay, a quick check of how long chapter 11 is. It's not very long. A check of what time it is, so I can put the timestamp in. Chapter 11, The Tower Signaler. Nancy, Bess, and George pulled chairs close to Mr. Peter Judd so they would not miss one word of the story he was about to tell. Suddenly, Nancy jumped up and commanded, Wait! She turned and dashed toward the front door, calling as she went, Girls, run out the back way and stop that man. What's she doing? What's going on? Mr. Judd was amazed. He did not know what Nancy meant, but he hurried to a window and looked outside. He was just in time to see Nancy take off full speed after a man who was fleeing down the embankment toward the dock. Before she could reach him, the man jumped into a motorboat tied alongside the girls' rented runabout and roared off. Nancy came to a full stop on the dock. It would be useless to try to pursue the man. He had too much of a head start. Bess and George ran up to her. Who was he? Bess asked. Why were you chasing him? The young sleuth explained that as Mr. Judd was about to start his story, she had seen the top of the head of an eavesdropper just outside the window. I got a him as he jumped into his boat. I think he's the man you said followed me in River Heights. The one who was following George here in Deep River. He's the man I said looked familiar. He seems determined to find out what we're doing, Bess remarked. I'll say he is, George agreed. So far as I'm concerned, he's definitely an enemy. And maybe he's one of the kidnappers, Bess suggested. Why don't we follow him? He might lead us to Mr. Wheeler. George scoffed at this idea. That's exactly what he wouldn't do, she said, laughing. Anyhow, we wouldn't be able to overtake him now. Nancy nodded. Let's go back and hear Mr. Judd's story, she suggested. Inside the cottage once more, she described the eavesdropper and their past encounters with him. Have you any idea who he might be? Mr. Judd shook his head, and Nancy begged him to tell the story, which had been interrupted. While I was on a train running direct from New York City to Deep River some 15 years ago, he began, I specially noted 3 passengers in one of the cars. A man, a woman, and a very pretty little girl between 2 and 3 years old. When I had some free time, I stopped to talk to her. She said her name was Joni, and she was going to stay with her other granny. Nancy, Bess, and George listened intently. This was indeed interesting. Interesting. Sorry, I had a Nancy Drew Games moment. Interesting. Interesting. Joni made a remark that I have never forgotten. She said her granddaddy and grandmommy she was with were going far away to tell people about God. Missionaries? Bess queried. I suppose so, said Mr. Judd. Well, the little girl and her grandparents got off in Deep River, and I never saw any of them again. Months later, when I heard about Mrs. Horton and her grown-up granddaughter named Joni, I remembered about those folks on the train. I kept thinking about that grown-up girl getting all the money and thought I ought to tell Mr. Wheeler the story. George blurted out, "You told this to Mr. Wheeler all that time ago, and he didn't do anything about it?" As I said before, he just laughed at me. I felt kind of silly and never mentioned the story again to anyone. Now, maybe, Mr. Wheeler has changed his mind and wants to hear about it in more detail. No doubt, Nancy agreed. Can you give us the details? The little girl had big blue eyes and blonde curls. Nancy excitedly opened her purse and took out the picture of young Joni Horton at the age of 2. "Is this the child?" she asked. It was now Mr. Judd's turn to look astounded. "It certainly looks like her," the ex-conductor said. "Of course, it was a long time ago, but this is just about the way I remember little Joni." Mr. Judd asked Nancy to explain her connection with the Horton family. Hair issues. "Actually, it's my father's case," she replied, knowing that it might be unwise to reveal her part in the investigation. I expect my dad to come to Deep River in a little while. He'll probably come to call on you very soon." This evasive answer seemed to satisfy Mr. Judd, and before he had a chance to say anything more, Nancy arose, thanked him, and said the girls must leave. "I certainly hope they find Mr. Wheeler soon," Mr. Judd called as his visitors went toward the dock. When the girls were seated in the runabout, Nancy's face wore a broad grin. "This is the best clue yet," she exclaimed. "It's simply marvelous," said Bess. "How are you going to develop it?" Nancy said she thought it might be a good idea to do a little sleuthing among the shopkeepers in town. There may be some who were here 15 years ago and perhaps could tell us if any articles for a small child were sent out to the Horton home. Nancy suggested that the girls divide up the shopping area and make separate calls on the storekeepers. This bit of delving took until the latter part of the afternoon. They had about given up hope of any further clue until Nancy entered a small toy store. It was run by an elderly man and woman. After learning that the couple had been in town for over 30 years, Nancy asked her question. Stick a sock in it. The man and woman looked at each other, then smiled. Finally, the woman said, "I remember something about a child's gift very well. The most beautiful doll and carriage we have ever sold were ordered over the telephone at Christmas time and delivered to the Horton home. Did the person who delivered it see a little girl there? Nancy asked. No, our messenger saw no one. How does she remember this? I remember clearly how he reported to us that a check and a note had been left on the Horton porch with instructions for him to leave the toys there. This old lady has a good memory. The man shopkeeper, curious, asked Nancy why she had made her inquiry. As nonchalantly as possible, Nancy answered, My father is interested in the Horton family. My friends at My friends and I came up here on a vacation, and he asked me to find out what I could about them. I see, said the man. Can't tell you anything more. He turned and walked into a back room. At the same time, a boy came in through the front door, and the woman went to wait on him. The girls left. This is our day for good luck, said Bess. Maybe the Moonstone is bringing it. Nancy laughed, but agreed that they had picked up 2 valuable clues. Right now, I have so many trails to follow. I don't know which to take. The one I'd like most to pursue would be the opportunity of talking to Jody Armstrong. Then why don't you? Said George. She's probably home by now. Okay. No. Sometimes when somebody just says one word, I have trouble with it, like how to say it. No, said Nancy. No, said Nancy. If I seem like a friendship pusher, the Armstrongs may become suspicious and not let me see Jody at all. You're right, said Bess. Anyhow, don't forget, the boys are coming today. I want to shampoo my hair before they get here. It's a sight after all our trekking around and the wind blowing it in that boat. The girls took a taxi to the motel. As soon as they reached it, Nancy went to the telephone. She called police headquarters and asked if there was any news of her stolen car. Oh, I forgot about her stolen car. When did her car get stolen? We got one more page. I need questions answered. How did her car get stolen again? When did her car get stolen? Was it when she was at that picnic for someone's grandmother? When did Nancy's car get stolen? I completely forgot about that. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Right. How did the car get stolen? She called police headquarters and asked if there was any news of her stolen car. Not a trace, said the officer on duty. I'm hot. It's hard to put my hair behind my ears. There's so much of it. Stay. I need bigger ears so I can get my hair to stay behind. Not a trace, said the officer on duty. I'm sorry, Miss Drew. We're still working hard trying to find it. Nancy next asked whether Mr. Wheeler had been found. Again, the answer was no. Nancy hung up. Looks like Nancy's going to have to find Mr. Wheeler and her car by herself, because the police are what the French call les incompetents. In spite of this disappointment and worry over the whereabouts of the injured lawyer, the day's new clues spurred Nancy on. She felt too excited to go to her room to rest or start dressing. I think I'll get the binoculars and take another look at that castle, she decided. She got the glasses and went out to the terrace. She trained the binoculars on the distant building. The tower of the castle came into sharp focus. Nancy gasped. A man, bewhiskered and unkempt, stood on the roof of the tower. He too held glasses to his eyes. They were trained directly on the motel, and Instantly, Nancy dodged behind a tree. I hope he didn't see me. Though out of sight, she continued to focus her own binoculars on him. The man put down his binoculars and began to make strange motions with his hands. I don't know why that's funny. I just got an image of Charles Manson when he's in court. It's this video, and he's like doing weird things with his hands. It just popped right into my head. What kind of strange motion? Oh, he's probably signaling someone, right? The man put down his binoculars and began to make strange motions with his hands. Nancy watched him intently. She asked herself, has that man gone crazy, or is he trying to signal someone? So maybe he does look like Charles. He's dancing like Charles Manson in court. This is a family-friendly channel, but I could share the video with you. There's nothing bad in it. There's no bad language. There's no violence. It's just him being a cuckoo. But for some reason, when I read strange motions with his hands, it made me think of that. This is interesting. Oh, I forgot to say something. End of chapter 11. So that was interesting. I wonder who that guy is. I just read the first sentence, the first two sentences of the next chapter. Guess who's there? Guess who just showed up? Are you guessing? Somebody just showed up in chapter 12. He's like, anyway, it's funny. I'm going to take my hair off, okay? Oh, it's like growing, you know? It's ginger. It looks like there's some missing here, but it's not. It's because I was bleaching my eyebrows and I put some over here because I made too much. This is my new wig, my blonde wig. Isn't it pretty? I keep it on the wall next to my ginger wig. I don't like dark hair on me. Okay, I'm going to hang it up there. So we're only going to read one chapter for today, okay? Because I'm tired. Oops. Hold on. I put my hat here, and then the wig goes over the hat. And the shape of the hat kind of keeps the shape of the wig. Like that. There. It's better. I got one of those styrofoam head things, but it doesn't really work. I'd rather just keep it on the wall. Okay. Who do you think shows up in the next chapter? Well, obviously you know who's going to be there, but. And who's the crazy guy on top of the castle? And let's take a look at where our bookmark is. I'm very thirsty. I'm looking in my terrarium. It's so green and soft. And now, oh yeah, Chapter 7 of The Hidden Staircase, I have to redo. When I was recording it and playing it back, I was like, doesn't seem loud enough. And then when I was putting the video together on my phone, it was like, it wasn't loud enough. And the intro and outro music was louder than my speaking. So it wasn't, but I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then today I put my earbuds in and started listening to it. And it was only in one side. I don't remember which side. So somehow, like the balance was off, although I didn't change any settings. So I don't know. But I'm going to redo it because it sounds messed up. I know a lot of people listen on headphones or earbuds, and it's very annoying when you only get it in one ear. Plus, I don't think it was my best. I'm going to redo chapter 7. Thank you. Yes, it's Ned. Ned shows up like in the first sentence of chapter 12. Yay, I like Bess when she's all, the boys are coming. I have to shampoo my hair. Oh, maybe, okay. This is just my bracelet, but maybe the chicken will be a girl and she can have like some kind of a necklace. I was either going to do a little bow tie or something, but maybe she can have a little necklace with beads. She definitely needs more fluffies on top. Chickens don't have ears. What's over on the side? It feels like there's something missing on the side. Maybe, I don't know. Don't want to overdo it. She doesn't have a name. Oh, and I'm making a flamingo too. I've got the main part of it done, except for the legs. Yes, I know. Well, it's going to have something in it to make it stay in place and all that. Right now it looks kind of like the Loch Ness Monster, but there's still a lot of stuff to do. And the legs are going to come down the side so that she can kind of like sit on the edge of something with her legs dangling off. She's going to be a girl. It looks like a little Loch Ness Monster. And then her name's going to be Fiona. Fiona the flamingo. Right now she's just scary. She'll be cute when I'm finished. And with that, I shall bid you aloha. Because I want to lie down. I'm sleepy. I got up many times during the night. Even though my pills were supposed to make that not happen. I don't think the pills are working. But I only have them for a month. So if they don't work, I don't know. But this, look at that. Shouldn't the hair go like here? Shouldn't it go like that? Anyway, I enjoy wearing my wigs. I'd like to get a shorter one. The blonde one, the long blonde one is really fun, but it gets in the way. I did braids on the side, like one braid here and one braid here, but it looked ridiculous. And then I tried to put buns up here with it, but it looked ridiculous. So that's all I have to say about that. Oh yeah, I'm addicted to peppermints. Did I show you the peppermints I love? Because I have to tell you something about them. These are these Lifesaver peppermints. I love them. Okay. And it smells so good. You can smell the peppermint before even opening them. Winto green Lifesaver peppermints. So I had eaten them all. And then yesterday I was lying on my bed playing a game on my phone and I was like, God, I would kill for some peppermints. So I went to, and I couldn't take it. I think I'm addicted to them. I was like, just stop thinking about peppermints. But I couldn't. So I went I went to the grocery store, even though I was tired, just to get some peppermints. Then I Googled addicted to Lifesavers peppermints. And I found all kinds of stuff. Other people are addicted to these. And they have something in them that's bad. Although it says ingredients, sugar, well, these are bad things. Sugar, corn syrup, artificial flavor, stearic acid. But when I looked it up, there was some kind of a chemical that they were talking about and how it can cause horrible things to happen to you. They're so yummy. Is anyone else addicted to some kind of candy? I used to be addicted to fuzzy peaches. You know those gummy ones? They're like peach flavored and they have the sugar on them. I used to buy 2 bags of pudgy fuzzy peaches at a time and a Coke. And I would like eat the whole thing, and then that's a lot of sugar. And then I would feel like I was going to die. It's the same as drugs, right? You take your heroin or whatever and you feel really good, and then after you just want to drop dead. Sugar works the same. Anyway, I'm trying to not have too many. 4 pieces, 4 peppermints has 14 grams of sugar. I don't know. Like I keep them, I have some beside my bed or on my bed, like over where I have my stuff. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, ooh, peppermint. A while ago, it was apples. I was addicted to apples. I think that's better than peppermints, but I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I want an apple. I probably should try to go back to apples. What do you think? And with that, I will bid you aloha, because I want to turn the lights off, put my eye thing over my eyes so it's dark, eat some walnuts, and just go to sleep. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for chapter 11. We've got however many left, 9 chapters left. It's getting exciting. I don't know when I'll be back to read another live chapter to you. I'm going to the hospital tomorrow to see the plastic surgeon. Wednesday, I don't know, but sometime. Bye. Have a nice week. It's Monday. I was going to say have a nice weekend, but it's Monday. Have a nice week. See you sometime.